What's up, people? I'm Shaggy, the Opinionated Hippie, and today I would like to talk about the latest announced, going to be released in September, Frank Zappa release. This past Friday, today's Tuesday, 4 or 5 days ago, got an email letting me know that the Frank Zappa Family Trust, Zappa.com, is taking pre-orders for their next release. It is a release that, obviously the title gives it away to this video, the 50th anniversary of Apostrophe. And I would like to say that recently in comments, I think it might have been on the Whiskey A Go-Go video, or maybe the release that was previous to that, the Overnight Sensation video. People asked me, hey, what did I think, as someone who's, in the weeds on Zappa stuff and going down these rabbit holes, what I thought the next release might be. And someone suggested the Apostrophe 50th Anniversary Edition, and I shot that down. I said, I don't think we're getting an Apostrophe 50th Anniversary Edition. Yes, it is the 50th anniversary, but my thinking was they already released the crux of the biscuit, and it was a single CD of like various outtakes and alternate takes and some pretty cool stuff from the Apostrophe sessions. And I kind of thought that was the end all and be all. I thought they got one release, they got one CD, that would be the end of it. And then not only was this announced, I find out that this is the next release, I also find out that it's a 5 CD and Blu-ray super deluxe edition. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm wrong on that, obviously. There's a lot of stuff in the vault from the Apostrophe recordings. So then before I actually looked at the track list, I was a little like, but what is it? Like, is it sort of like a making of freak out type thing? Is it some other stuff where we're just getting a lot of basic tracks or alternate tracks or just slight differences and stuff for the course of discs? Is this something I'm going to want? And in a way, I feel validated, because I do kind of feel like this is a release that didn't have to be an Apostrophe release. It could have been a different release, and we'll get to that really soon. But they're taking a Grateful Dead route, is what the Zappa Family Trust is. Recently, 2 days ago, I dropped a video talking about the Mars Hotel 50th anniversary that the Dead did, in which they remastered that. They had some deep cuts, and then they released an entire 74 show as the 2 bonus discs. So I'm looking at this release, 5 CDs, mind you. First CD, we get the 2024 remaster of the original 1974 album, right? So you get those 9 tracks, you get a remastered version of it. Looking forward to that. Can't wait to hear what that sounds like. And then you get 9 album session tracks. You get, and this is what they're titled, you get like a Don't Eat the Snow basic track, alternate track. Could be interesting. 2 versions of Nanook Rubs It, basic tracks and a session track. Okay. Cosmic Debris, basic tracks, take 3. Okay, whatever. An extra eccentrifugal force, a mix outtake of Apostrophe, which I've gone on the record many times saying is not one of my favorite Zappa songs. I think seems like it was an opportunity was missed there. Uncle Remus mix outtake. Love me some Uncle Remus. Don't know what the mix outtake is going to bring. And then we get the Apostrophe unedited master, which is kind of interesting to see how that compares with some of the stuff on Crux of the Biscuit. And then we get an Uncle Remus piano and vocal mix 2024. And that's it. Nothing else on these 5 CDs is from the Apostrophe recording sessions. That's it. There's things at the end, actually at the end of the 5th disc, we'll get to this. Let's do this. You get an Apostrophe TV ad. You get Don't Eat the Yellow Snow, a single edit. So you get that at the end of the 5th disc. You get Goldberg GTR, a guitar solo from somewhere, an approximate dash Bale, as in Christian, and we get ... the Poodle Bites ... Those are like the tracks at the very end of disc 5. But that's it as far as approximate stuff. So in a sense, I almost feel like I was right? Like, this isn't really a 5 CD approximate release. It's celebrating the release of approximate, and then using that as an excuse to fill discs 2 and 3, and then discs 4 and 5 with 2 complete, I'm assuming complete, might be missing the end of songs or start of songs, but what appear to be complete 1974 complete concerts. If you've watched any random 6 Frank Zappa videos I've made on this channel, you know my favorite year, my favorite tour, favorite year is 74, favorite tour, summer, fall 74. I pray, I worship at the altar that is Frank Zappa's 1974 band. We get 2 shows as the bonus stuff. 1 disc and a handful of tracks as approximate material, and then 4 discs of live 1974 material. Already, I'm like all in on this. This is going to be one of the greatest releases ever. I don't know how it couldn't be. But then we look at the shows we get. First show, bonus concert number 1, which takes up all of disc 2 and all of disc 3. We get Colorado Springs, Colorado in 1974. Looking at that date, look, no date. We don't get what actual date it is, just 1974. But looking at the songs that are played on there, looking at where it was, Colorado Springs, Colorado, it is a March 1974 show. This is from the band that I don't believe we have had any official releases from at all. This band is the post-Roxy and Elsewhere band, but the pre-Zappa Erie band, that May 74 show, one of the greatest things ever. So we got Frank Zappa's here, George Duke is here, Napoleon Murphy Brock is here, Ralph Humphrey, who would continue through the middle of the year, is here, Chester Thompson's here, who joined in, and like towards the end of 73. Ruth Underwood is here. She wouldn't be around for the next tour, but will return for the awesome summer fall tour. Tom Fowler on bass. But the 2 people that kind of make this a little bit different than what we've had all else and give this tour a different flavor, other than the fact that we would miss Underwood for the next one and get a horn player. We get Jeff Simmons on guitar, vocals, harmonica, and we get Bruce Fowler on trombone. So we get this really weird mix of post-Roxy, not quite yet the Mother's 10-year reunion tour. It's just this really awesome mix of musicians. And there's a number of songs on here in really, really early versions, I think 2 particularly, that are just, I've heard on these not the best sounding quality bootleg tapes. And now we actually get like really what I think are going to be great. Maybe Colorado Springs, Colorado. I'm not really sure what the source of this is, whether it's a soundboard, whether Frank was recording this, whether it's a cleaned up audio tape, audience tape, not sure. But we're going to get some new songs, some versions, not some new songs, but there's a couple songs on here. We get versions that have not yet been released. And I am so excited about that. But this is what we get on these 2 shows. Disc number 2, the first of the discs, Village, Echidnas, Don't You Ever Wash, pretty much played exactly as they were on the Roxy tour. Just kind of the same format. Band's kind of getting a little bit better at them, a little more comfortable. We get a Babette, which was dropped a couple times on this tour. I thought it was only dropped once prior to this, but this is not the show I have it on. So now I know it was at least played twice. Oh, no, Babette, that one that they drop on. You Can't Do That on Stage Anymore 1, I believe. We get Approximate, nice, fast, kind of hectic, weird Approximate. Cosmic Debris. We get a Pygmy, Idiot, Cheapness. Pygmy is pretty much like the Roxy version. The Cheapness is this weird hybrid of the Roxy version and later 74 versions. That's all I remember of it. I know it's not exactly like Roxy, and I know it's not exactly like Stage 2. It's a somewhere weird mix one. Interested to see what's in there and what's not. We get a Montana, and then we get the gorgeous, gorgeous monster of this tour. We get to Dupree's Paradise. Disc 2 ends with Dupree's Paradise intro, which is the George Duke-led funk jam. Typically, almost always, I'm assuming that's what this is. Disc 3 then kicks off with Dupree's Paradise proper. This is one of those epic songs, the monster songs from this tour, where I'm pretty sure Fowler drops a solo in here. We get some conducting. Yeah, Brock usually goes first, and we get some bass solos. We usually get Duke, we get a trombone solo, we get a Frank guitar solo. Oh, and the bass line for the guitar solos in Dupree's Paradise, when Frank starts to play in his, I don't know if it's in this show, but I know in some of the tapes I do have, it is the bass line, the opening bass line to Carolina Hardcore Ecstasy, that he would do that opening thing when they after they play the intro. That is the bass line that was used in these solos on the tapes I have. Not sure if it's the case. Most of those tapes come, I think, from earlier in the tour, but I think I have one from later in the tour. So yeah, that's what it should be. The bass line should be a Carolina Hardcore Ecstasy, that opening bass line. I'm pretty sure of that. So that's what opens up disc 3. Then we get the 2 new songs that we have really different versions of. The first is we get a version of, it says, "Is There Anything Good Inside of You?" Andy is the song. Can't really describe Andy, but I made this web page that's still up on the internet. I'll put the link in the comments if you want to check it out. I've changed my opinions on many of the songs since this. This was like, what, 30 plus, 20 plus years ago. But this is what I said right there about this version of Andy. Essentially the same structure, but it's the devil in the details. Some parts are more dramatic. Some parts are like a little more staccato, some parts a little more awkward. There's like a little Duke solo. There's a nice Frank solo. We were missing some of the parts that would be there vocally at the end of the song. It's an entirely different experience, this version of Andy. I think I even write at the end, worth hearing, but not essential. No idea if I'm going to stand by that. I have no idea if I might completely change my mind after hearing this and like what I hope is better sound. But really excited to hear an officially released version. After that, we get a Florentine Pogan, which is essentially the same, but it's played twice as fast. Twice as fast. The ending has a weird little ending. I think there's an extra vocal part that Frank says something. He says, what does he say? Put them all, I think it's in all of the Florentine Pogans from this tour, or maybe it's only on the tape I heard. But there's something along the line of, some of the lyrics that close the song are put them all together and they smell something to you. And then we go into Kung Fu. The Kung Fu comes right out of the Florentine Pogan. And that's the way it is on the show. So interesting. We'll get that. So disc 3, Dupree's. We're early version of Andy, Florentine Pogan, Kung Fu. Then we get a Penguin to Mercy, Dog Meat, Redunzel, a typical string of songs. And then for the encore, we get the King Kong Chunga's Son of Mr. Green Jeans medley. Fantastic. Super excited. But that's only the first of the 2 shows. The second show is a November fall 74 show. November 74, an absolutely fantastic month of perfection. If I have a complaint, it's that we don't get like an Inca Roads or a Montana or a More Trouble, which were kind of the guitar epics of this tour. But we do get a Don't Eat the Yellow Snow from the 74 tour, which ties into the Apostrophe theme. So that makes sense as a show choice. Also on disc 4, prior to the start of the November show, we get an Inca Roads from March of 74. Probably the show. It says Salt Lake City 318. Colorado Springs had to either be the show before that or the show after that. And the Inca Roads here, I think it's kind of similar to the one that was on the Zappa Erie with that really repetitive kind of are we even out of guitar at this point? The first part, Yeah, it's that you have a guitar solo, but you just have that like percussion riff that just kind of goes over it. And so it really kind of inhibits Frank's solo. I'm reading what I wrote like decades ago. And so that one is similar. I think the Inca Roads format of that is pretty similar to the one on Zappa Erie before it had developed into sort of the epic guitar solo thing it is. It has that same sort of rhythmic thing that opens it, that is cool with the vocals, but not necessarily with the guitar solo, though it is interesting to hear. So you get a version of that from March 74. And then you get the show. And the November show, the first disc, Tush Tush Tush, Stinkfoot, Redunzel, Village, Our Kidneys, Don't You Ever, Penguin to Mercy, Dog Meat, Into Building a Girl, which was like Frank conducting them when they make weird noises that sound like they're actually taking apart a girl. And then the second disc of the show, we get a Dynamo Hum, always interesting from 74. Camarillo Brillo that looks like it's it's not an encore number. These usually had a nice little Duke jam at the end of them. We get a Pygmy Twilight, which are pretty awesome. This is where the guitar theatrics I think are going to come in, and we get a room service. I'm always up for a room service. The Napoleon Zappa sort of back and forth play was always entertaining. And then we go to Tush Tush Tush. So I'm assuming the encore is then the Don't Eat the Yellow Snow Suite, closing with Father Oblivion. So yeah. I'm super excited about this release. I mean, I'm just like, I did not think Apostrophe was being dropped, and I really don't think they dropped it. Like, I mean, it really is. I am glad they could have easily just re-released Apostrophe, kind of made it not a big splash, but say, hey, we're re-releasing this. There's some bonus tracks. It's remastered. For a lot of people, that's enough, right? But they padded it out with 274 shows, and that is a brilliant decision. I am in heaven. I think every 74 show should be released. I'm a completist on that front. What is on the Blu-ray? I don't know what the Blu-ray involves. Those are just the 5 CDs. I don't have a Blu-ray player. It's not something that I'm in. It's not even listed, I think, on the website what is specifically the different content on the Blu-ray is. I don't believe. So anyways, a Blu-ray audio set, which I guess that's just a version of the album. I don't know. I'm a Blu-ray. I know nothing about Blu-ray. So yeah, I'm the wrong person to go to with Blu-ray questions. But yeah, that is what's on here. You get an Apostrophe album with the remastered version of the album and some bonus tracks. May or may not be interesting. Who knows? We'll see how that plays out. And 2 complete 74 shows. This release is awesome. I highly recommend it. You have a show from a tour that we know nothing about as far as official releases go, with some really strange arrangements of songs that I think are his all-time best. And then you get a November 74 show. That's it. It's perfect. It's great. I'm looking forward to it. It comes out the week before Bob Dylan's 20 plus The Band and Bob Dylan Live CD box set comes out. So there's going to be a lot of listening that I need to do in September, but I'm really looking forward to it. That's like a month into school. This is 3 weeks after school starts. So on my third Friday after school starts, I get to listen to this release, kind of unwind over the weekend. So anyways, yeah. All right, that's it. Comes out on September 13th, or at least that's when it ships, according to the website. I'm assuming it's going to be released, dropped on other places on the 13th. But anyways, yeah. I'm excited. I am excited. Yeah. All right. That's it, man. Thanks for watching. Let me your thoughts on this release down there. Do all that kind of stuff. But yeah, this is ridiculous. All right. That's all I got. Thanks for watching. Peace. Talk to you later.